Hello, edible treats. Wow, I'm finally here. Yvonne, you're doing amazing.
Thanks.
Wow. Wow. And what are we doing?
We are making fondant toppers for our cake. So we
Wow.
have to make sure we make our toppers for it to dry very well before we put it on the cake, if not they will fall off. So that's what we're actually doing now.
Amazing. Thank you so much for agreeing to share your wonderful story with the world.
Dear viewers, a warm welcome to all of you aspiring entrepreneurs and enthusiasts alike. Today, the bus landed at Edible Treats at Adenta Frafraha. Speaking with the CEO, Yvonne Noreye. Let's do this. Wow, Edible Treats. Yvonne, you're doing amazing.
Thank you.
I mean, the wonderful cakes you put out there, they are so great. We are honored to have you on the Entrepreneurship Journey program. And we want to know, who is Yvonne?
My name is Yvonne Noriye. I make cakes. I'm a sugar craft specialist and a chocolatier. So chocolatiers are people who make chocolates as well. And we also train people in sugar crafts making. Basically, that's me. I have an MPhil in development studies, and I have a degree in development studies. But I decided to branch into sugar crafts because I really loved cakes. And most of the cakes I tasted were not really the way I really wanted to enjoy the cake. So that's how come I decided to branch into sugar craft to make cakes the way I would love it. I started after lockdown in 2020. I realized that people were making cakes but and other pastries, but most of them were not really concerned about the health of their clients. You know, in 2020 after lockdown, a lot of people added on weight. A lot of people now were suffering from obesity and other related illness related to foods we eat because we're on lockdown. People were not going to work. Children had become chubby. Some people were not fitting in their clothes anymore because they had just been eating. They were not going to the gym. But and in as much as they were trying to lose weight, they still wanted to enjoy what they love, like cakes and pastries. So I decided to do, and it was during that period I was also doing a lot of learning because I loved baking and it helped me to do a lot of learning and to develop lots of recipes. I started by posting recipes on Facebook because most of us were home by then, and now the internet was more like our best friend. I started posting recipes on Facebook, and I had people send me messages that, Yvonne, this recipe you posted, I tried it with my family, and my kids really loved it. Thank you. So the feedback was so good, and people were now asking me, what's the calorie content of this you've posted, and won't it make my kids overweight? Because now my kids are not fitting into their clothes. I then had to do research because my background is research. I had to research to know what kind of foods we can enjoy without adding on our weight, without increasing cholesterol levels, and what foods people with certain dietary requirements can also enjoy, like people who are diabetic, people who have high levels of cholesterol. So in coming out with that, I had to do a lot of consultation with a number of doctors, and they also gave me the right foods and certain foods within our Ghanaian context we can use to make our cakes and pastry. So that's how come Edible Treats started. But it wasn't a walk in the park. It wasn't so rosy as a lot of people might think, or as I'm saying it. Because when I started, it was really tough, like really tough.
We want to know the tough nature of
I
this job.
started officially on the 1st of June. And when I started, the first time I started with a package called Wishful Wednesday. So it was cupcakes with a drink. And I had an agreement with the delivery company. So because it was my first time, I decided to do free delivery.
Whoa.
Then I went to, it's a partnership with a delivery company. I think that was my worst nightmare because I worked throughout the night to make sure all the packages were ready. So by 7 a.m., the packages were ready and everything. I even took pictures and shared to clients who had ordered that I was waiting for the dispatch. Now, delivery came later in the evening, and by the time some of them received their packages, it was messed up. In one of them, the delivery couldn't pick all the packages, so he also outsourced. And in the outsourcing, the delivery ate some of the cupcakes. It came with a drink. So he drank the drink and he ate some of the cupcakes and left a few there for the clients.
What?
And he went to deliver the cupcakes after 8 p.m. to the client. And then I remember that client so well because he's a military officer. And he took it to the barracks.
Oh my goodness.
And when he got there, he told the man that, oh, cupcakes near shit. So let me put this in the boot. And the man like, no, it is food. You can't put food in the boot of my car. Come and put it in front. He said, no, it's hot. And the man insisted, only for the man to open it. He had drank and kept the empty bottle in the package. He had taken out some of the cupcakes. He had eaten
Oh
it.
my goodness.
So the man got angry. And he started confronting him. And that's when he confessed that, no, comedy, no. And he ate some. So that's when, so I started, after 9 p.m., I started receiving WhatsApp messages. So in my mind, oh, my clients have received it. They're sending me feedback. Then they started sending me pictures. When I see the picture, then I'll scream. I say, what is this? Then I'll receive another picture. Then somehow, my day was so bad that night. I remember telling my mom and my sister, I was showing the pictures. My mom was so pissed off. My sister was really angry. I didn't know what to do. So I spoke to a friend and I told her that I don't think this entrepreneurship journey is for me. Because I remember because I was working corporate and I left corporate to come and start this.
Wow.
I was like, I remember speaking with her on phone, Oba, it made it needs me new. She was like, what do you mean? Oh, one day pen you will continue, whether you like it or not. I said, this one GA. And most of them now were asking for a refund. Imagine I've already paid for delivery and now they're asking for a refund. I had to do a lot of refund. So in the end, I made losses because I had paid the delivery company and I had bought packaging, everything. And now I had to refund them the full amount, not even half. Not even half. I had to refund them the full amount. It was really tough for me. But I really thank God for my friend, Naya Foods. She encouraged me and told me that, Oba, you know what I'll do? I have a dispatch I've been working with. I'm going to talk to him every Wednesday because the package was for Wednesday. So it's called Wishful Wednesday. So every Wednesday, he's not going to do any delivery for me. I'm going to assign him to you to do all your deliveries for you.
That's
When
a good
he's
friend.
done, he can now come to me. So that was their agreement. So he called me, we spoke and everything, and we started picking up from there. But my first instance, that was supposed to be like my breakthrough and our receipt. Now people were hesitant to order. People didn't want to order
Because
again.
of the first experience.
Because of my first experience. And now I had to look for ways to make sure that when the client is receiving their package, it's still intact and everything. And I really thank God for Wendy of Naya Foods because if she didn't come in, I'm sure by now I would have given up long ago.
Wendy, thank you so much. So in the end, you paid, you refunded their money.
Yes, I refunded their money. And I had to let the delivery company also refund my money. But it couldn't even make up for what I had lost and everything. It was really, really tough as a day.
So were you able to retain some of those people? How did it go?
Well, I didn't retain any of those who purchased the first time, to be honest. I didn't retain any of them. But it taught me resilience. It taught me that sometimes a lot of things happen behind the scenes that we have little or no control of. And as an entrepreneur, you should find ways of mitigating those things so that they don't reoccur. Imagine if I had given up. By now, a lot of people would not even hear of edible treats. I'll not have been able to train a lot of people. But with that, it taught me that I have to think out of the box. What could I do differently? So then I had to get a food bag to be able to pack the cupcakes inside. And now I was so firm. And because of that, now any cake that lives here, we don't use motorbikes in delivering our cakes again. No matter how small the package is, we tell you our policy is we use Uber or Bolt. If you want to use a motorbike, it means you have to let your dispatch come and pick it up yourself. I'll send you a picture of this is how it is. But once it leaves this premises, we are not responsible for whatever happens to it here.
And is it working for you?
Yes, it's really working because clients who understand and know that cake is delicate. Because I get people telling me, "Oh, I've been ordering from this bakery and they use motorbikes," and I tell them, "Well, their cakes are different. Our cakes are really delicate, and a motorbike will squash it for you." So I always explain to them, once you go ahead with it and you make payments, it means you've agreed to the terms and condition. And once you tell us, okay, I can't, because I've had people who insist and they let their dispatch come and pick up. I tell you, this is how it is given to the dispatch. And when they receive it, then they'll be like, I should have just made you to order the Uber. Or when it came, in fact, I couldn't even use it. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I sent them the picture of the finished work before it goes. So now you can't really fault me. And it has really helped me because everybody wants to receive their cake for their events intact. Nobody wants to receive a cake that is all scattered and squashed. Yeah.
This story, we just started and you can already imagine the entrepreneurship journey is not for the faint-hearted, as you rightly said. Apart from what you've shared, could you share a particular failure in your career and the lessons you've learned from them?
Yes, I think that was one of my biggest failures in starting my business. But what it has taught me is that you should never give up. I always use that my story and encourage my students. And also when I was starting, I remember I was doing my second degree and I told my dad I want to go and learn cake. It was like an abomination because my dad was like, no, 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 not in this house. He said, no, no, if you knew you wanted to learn cake, you should have told me when you were in SS. I would have taken you straight to vocational school. Now you've done your master's, you've done your degree, you want to go and learn cake. He said, no, no, not in this house. Hey, it didn't make, I was like, hey, cake, like, I want to learn cake. I told my colleagues I was studying with at that time, they were like, hey, now you want pan, master's holder, cake. They were like, no, no, no. So I remember I told one of them that, don't worry, I'll start this cake. I'll own a school. And one day you will see it and you hear of it.
So how many years did you spend in corporate?
I spent 3 years in corporate. I was working for an NGO as a project manager. And it was really stressful. I remember there are some times when I get for this, I was working formally and I started the cake with friends and family. So sometimes I get orders and I intentionally tell my boss I'm not well, I'm going to the hospital and I'll stay home and work on the orders for the person. So I realized that I really was more passionate about cake making than working in the corporate sector. So it just made a lot of sense to just leave the corporate and come and do this full time. Because I had people telling me that, oh, Yvonne, I think you're so good at the cake. Why don't you focus on it full time? And sometimes I really have to disappoint my clients because there are times I have to go to the field because I'm NGO and the client has already booked me for that weekend. So now I have to tell the client that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be available. And it brought about a lot of inconsistencies because now a client wants to make an order, but they are not sure. Somebody will be like, let me call Yvonne. By now, I'm sure she's out of town. Or somebody will be like, I don't think Yvonne will be in town. Let's give it to somebody else. Maybe that time I'm even in town. So I realized that I needed to focus on something. And I realized that working for somebody else, I was devoting my time, my energy to grow that person's business, where I could do the same thing for my business, so that with time I could look back and be proud of myself. And it's been 3 years, and I'm not even where I want to be, but at least I find contentment with what I am doing. I can say that I'm glad I started Edible Treats, and I'm happy with where it is going. Yeah.
That's wonderful. So how did you raise money to start?
Raising money. Well, everything was for my pockets. I didn't have anyone gifting me money apart from my dad who gifted me money to purchase my first oven. My mom bought some items for me. She bought this table that I am using. But everything basically from the tools to my ingredients, I raised them myself. Because I was working and so with the little funds I had saved, I bought my flour, my sugar, my butter, and I bought this was my first fridge I bought. So that's how I started and I was growing. So whatever profit I make, I reinvest it into the business. I decided to do what is termed as deferred gratification. I don't spend whatever profit I make. So I get an order for a yellow and white cake. When I make that cake, the profit I get, I decide to go and buy something else. So I'll go and buy a different color. So that next time when someone wants, a green and orange cake, I have the colors available. So sometimes when I'm buying cake boxes, instead of buying one, I started with buying margarine of sugar. And when you go to the cake shop, they measure butter in pounds. So I'll buy margarine, 1 pound. I'll buy one cake box. So that's how I started. Then I was using the wooden ladle. I didn't have a mixer. So I was using the wooden ladle and stirring. When I cream a little bit, I pass it on to my sisters and they also help me cream. And I was using my mother's gas stove with an oven to bake. So that is how I started. So whatever profits I generated, I plowed it back into the business. And I remember when I was able to make some money, my sister bought first hand mixer. I taught my sister how to bake so that in my absence she can also take up orders.
Great.
So when my sister made some profit, she bought a hand mixer, and that was what helped that. So we're using that hand mixer, and we grew, and I also bought another hand mixer, and then I bought my first cake mixer, and now I have a lot of machines.
Wow.
So that's how it started. So I didn't have anyone gifting me money. Oh, Yvonne, I can see you're starting business, so get like 5,000 CDs or 2,000 CDs. No, everything was strictly bootstrapping and with support from my parents. Yeah.
Oh, thanks to parents and thanks to your father. So let's say a beginner who is interested in doing cake.
Yeah.
What are some of the basic tools to start with?
Okay, so when you want to start cake making, one of the basic tools you would need is a palette knife. This is a palette knife. So it comes in a set of 3. We have this, then we have the very flat one, and we have one which is pointed. So it normally comes in a set of 3. I would encourage everyone who wants to learn the fundamentals of baking, whether you are learning from in person or you are learning on YouTube, you can't do without a palette knife. A palette knife, because this is what you use in smoothing out the design on the cake, whether it's whipped cream, whether it's buttercream. This is what you use to smoothing or what we call crumb coating on the cake. Normally, crumb coating is when you are done baking the cake. You don't want to see the crumbs in your actual design. So you take a bit of the frosting and wrap it all around the cake. So this is what we use in smoothing it.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a palette knife. And also you need a whisk. A whisk if you don't have a hand mixer. Okay. So the whisk would help you to whisk your eggs, so also cream your butter. And also, in case you want to do whipped cream, this will help you to do to whisk the whipped cream. So you need a whisk, and also you need a measuring cup. Cake making is a science, so you need a lot of mathematics. You need to do a lot of calculation. So you need a measuring cup. If not, you have to get a scale. But if you can't afford a scale, this is readily on the market. It's not up to 20 cedis. It comes in a set of 8. So you get the cups and you get the spoons. So most of the measurements we use, even when you go on YouTube, they'll use the cups because it's readily available. And when you have the measuring cup, you can bake any cake you want. And with that, you can easily convert it to grams if you are using a measuring scale. Then you also need a wooden ladle. In case you don't have a hand mixer, you can use a wooden ladle. That is what I started with. You use the wooden ladle to cream your margarine and your sugar and your butter. Then you later fold in the egg. So you need a wooden ladle and you need a silicone spatula. So when in the kitchen, we have a spatula that we use, but for cake making, we use a silicone spatula, not the plastic one. A silicone one because it's easily folds, it easily bends, so you can scrape the size of your pan and everything with it. And the last one is this is for decorating. This is a comb. This is a comb. We have the one with a very smooth edge, which is called a bench scraper. But this is a comb that is used for giving designs on the cake. So you see some cakes have these lines all around it. Yes. So this is what we use. It's called a comb.
Great.
Yes. So it comes with 2 designs on the edges. So you can either use this side or you can use this side. And we also need a sieve. This sieve is on the market. I don't know if there's a substitute for sieve, but you can't do anything in cake making without sieving. You need to sieve your flour, your baking powder, cocoa powder, all the powders, you need to sieve it thoroughly, and you can easily get it in our kitchen. We need mixing bowls, and these are the mixing bowls. You can easily get it on the market as well. You can get the stainless steel one if you can afford, or you can get the plastic one. So these are the basic things we need in cake making. And in cake making, we don't use square or different shapes aside round, because as you are creaming the butter and everything, if you use a different shape, some of the butter would enter into the shapes and it will be difficult for you to clean. So most often we encourage that you use round bowls, which is very easy to get all the butter and also easy to clean.
Wow. So if someone doesn't have oven, how do they?
Okay, so in case you don't have an oven, what you can do is to get a cauldron, what we call dadenseng.
Okay.
I'm sure a lot of us have that insane in our homes.
Yes.
What we call that insane. A cauldron, because it's very thick and heavy. So you put it on fire and get fine sand. So you pour the sand in the pot. Then you allow the sand to heat and be hot. Then you get your baking tin. Once you are done creaming and you pour it into your greased baking tin, you then cover it with a lid.
Wow.
So the heated sand is going to affect the baking tin and it's going to cause the batter to cook. You can start from there, and with time, you can just invest in locally manufactured
Ovens.
Yeah.
Great. Now, what is edible treats all about?
Okay, so edible treats, we make cakes, we make chocolates, and we also train as well. Our specialty lies in our carefully curated recipes. We have recipes for diabetics, we have recipes for people with high levels of cholesterol who still want to eat cake. We have special recipes for people with dietary requirements, people who have different allergies. Some people don't take milk, some people don't take eggs. Some people will tell you that I don't take gluten flour. So for all these people, we have cakes for them. We use our locally produced food raw materials to make the cakes, and also our cakes, we include fruits, nuts and cereals in our cakes. So when you buy from edible treats, you are likely to get a bit of coconut. You might even see chocolates chunks in the cake. You might even see cashew. You might see other fruits and nuts. We do this to also encourage farmers to reduce post-harvest losses, because sometimes farmers produce during the glut season and they don't have off-takers because there's a glut of that fruit or that cereal in the market. So to encourage farmers to also produce, not to leave the foodstuffs in the farms to go bad, we buy from them and we use it in making our cakes. So we have sugar-free cakes for diabetics, and we also have sugar-free cakes for people who generally don't take sugar. So for that, we use honey. Or we use dates powder or date syrup. We also have cakes, we use tiger nuts to make the cakes. And also we have cakes that we don't use butter. We use cholesterol-free oils like coconut oil or olive oil. So we source these things from our local farmers and also local SMEs like us to also encourage them to produce. That's what we do.
So you mentioned that you do training as well.
Yes.
How, if someone wants to come right now, what are some of the process they must go through?
Okay, so if you want to take part in our training, we provide you with the tools and the ingredients you need, because we believe that once the person is coming in as a novice, the person will not know the right tools and ingredients to be able to make the cake. So our training is a holistic package. Once you pay for the training, we provide you with the needed tools and ingredients. And whatever cake you make, it's for you. You take it home. So we encourage that people do the work themselves. We don't touch your work. It's 90% practical. We guide you so that once you leave here and you get an order home, you'll be able to do the order by yourself without having to bring the order back. And the good thing about the training is that once we are also working on our orders, you
Exactly.
get to see and learn and also ask questions as well. We don't hide anything from our students. And when they even have challenges, they call me, because once you train here, we provide you with mentoring and coaching, so that when you encounter any difficulty outside what we have taught, you can still call on us and we'll provide you with the mentoring. And we also have a WhatsApp platform where we share other recipes that were not taught here as well. So when we are having bulk orders, there are times we get overwhelmed with orders, like we get 2 or 3 weddings for the same day. I just call because we have an alumni page, I just put it there that anyone who is available can just come around, and you see them here, and
Wow.
everybody is working. And because I know their strongholds, it's easier to share. I can
Exactly.
tell you, why don't you work on flowers, you work on trimming the cake, you work on molding the fondant, so it's easier and they get to learn a lot more. So you realize that most of them, even after they are done, they still always want to come back.
Wow.
And sometimes when they are over, when they get an order that they think it's beyond them,
bring
they
it.
send me the picture and they ask if they can come and do it here. Some don't have as much space as I have here. So I always tell them, if you think you need space to come and work, just give me prior notice.
Wow.
And,
Aren't you a darling?
and just come here, come and do your
Please
work.
come and enroll your kids, as many of them that are showing interest in this field. You will not regret it.
What word of advice will you give to this group of people? I want to encourage you that never give up. Never give up, because life doesn't give you what you deserve. Life gives you what you fight for. You need to fight to build your brand. You need to fight to be consistent. You need to fight to make your mark in the entrepreneurial space. You need to fight for people to know your business and to know your work. But if you give up and you tell yourself that business is difficult, trust me, it's going to be really difficult for you. And for me, I'm a believer, and Bible says that life and death lies in the power of the tongue, and they that love it will eat of its fruits thereof. So you should make positive affirmations every day to yourself. Tell yourself, for me, one thing I always tell myself is I can never be poor. No matter what, I can never be poor. So I know that because of this mindset, because of this thinking, most of us believe that because we are Christians, we need to be mediocre. But Christianity is not an excuse for mediocrity. The fact that you're a believer and doesn't mean that you should just do your work anyhow. God rewards hard work. So the fact that you have told yourself that I can never be poor, put in strategies, put in measures to make yourself not to be poor. Because if you are not careful, this I can never be poor, you are telling yourself, poverty will catch up with you and you end up being poor. And you'll be saying that, oh, makasa engagement. No, but you should put in the hard work. And also, don't listen to naysayers. Don't listen to people who are going to corrupt you, because whatever you listen to tends to affect you. Bible says that faith comes by hearing, and by hearing of the word of God alone. So it means that the same way faith comes by hearing, doubt also comes by hearing. So I want to encourage anyone that surround yourself with like-minded people, people who are ready to see you win, people who are ready to see you succeed. And I'm really grateful for my friends, Justice of Juki Nat, for Rookie, because these people have always been more a safety net for me. They are all entrepreneurs, they are all doing their own businesses. But trust me, when one of us is down, we are there to give the person a supporting hand. We are there to encourage the person. There was one time I felt so down. I just took my phone and called my friend. I was like, Justice, I'm down. We were just talking, and he started encouraging me. He was like, Yvonne, this is not you. Come on, Yvonne, you've been inspiring me. What do you mean by that down? Just by the conversation I had with him, and he was always prep talking me. He would call me, Yvonne, what's up for your business? You said we were going to do ABC. Like, why, Yvonne, you are slacking. And just through this conversation, somebody might think, oh, this one is nothing. But just through these conversations, it really pushed me. And today, I mean, just a few weeks ago, he told me that, Yvonne, you've worked so hard. You deserve your flowers. I'm really proud of you. Sometimes you just need someone to tell you that I'm proud of you, Esther. I'm happy with what you are doing. Because the entrepreneurship journey is a very lonely road. So if you don't surround yourself with positive thinkers and people who would encourage you, you will break down, you will go into depression, or you become mad. I'm being honest with you. There are lots of entrepreneurs. Sometimes they are walking and they are talking, not because things are not working, no, but because there's no one to share their frustration with. There's no one to open up and tell the person that today I didn't meet my target. There's no one to tell that my light bill is coming. I don't even have money to pay. Sometimes people see you and think that, oh, CEO of edible trees, you have a lot of money, but they don't know that it's outside gentility, you won't cry. You are suffering inside. You know what you are going through. So I want to encourage anyone, don't give up. I mean, if you want to give up, just know that me, Yvonne of Edible Treats, I'm rooting for you to win. I want to see all of us at the top. A lot of people are thinking of traveling out of the country. Once you've made up your mind to stay in Ghana, the fact that you are staying in Ghana alone probably means that challenge you are a victor. Because if you be able to stay in Ghana in this trying time, it means you can do anything and you can succeed. So don't give up. Don't let anyone negate your thinking. Don't let anyone tell you that Ejuma will cry ebuso. It's a other now. You can make a difference. Whatever you are doing, you can make a difference. There are a lot of upcoming caterers, there are a lot of upcoming bakers, but edible treats is still edible treats because we still have customers. That's what I want to tell you.
Oh, it's so sweet.
Thank
Now, an investor is watching you.
Yeah.
Potential customers are watching you. Sell your business.
So I want to tell anyone out there who is watching edible treats and who wants to invest in edible treats. Edible treats is investable. You can invest in our cake making aspect. You can invest either in our training or you can even invest in our chocolate making aspect. We are open and for anyone who wants to come and patronize edible treats, we are located in Adenta Fafaha of the Dodowa Highway. When you are coming, you will not miss our signboard. It's on the main Adenta Highway after Harper's Pizza, and you can contact us via various social media platforms, Edible Treats International on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter. You can also call us on 0249 967700, 0249 967700, and we'll be ready to attend to your orders. Or you can just type in edible treats on Google, on Uber, Yango, or Bolt, and it will bring you straight to our space.
If you're an entrepreneur out there whose story is worth sharing, contact us. We'll be there to share your story like we're sharing Edible Treats story today, just so you expand your business and, of course, inspire others with your story. Please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let's support entrepreneurs to keep them growing. They really need it. Thank you.